Soccer moms, soccer dads, wine drinkers, and beer drinkers. Welcome to the Middle Age Moments Podcast.
Welcome to the Middle Age Moments Podcast, Episode 2. I'm your host, Chad Jump. This is my amazing wife, Erika Jump.
Hello.
And now that we've busted our first podcast episode, Sherry, we are bringing you... Why not?
Just PG.
We are bringing you another episode. And by the way, we did some research, and Aftershock discontinued their cinnamon-flavored liqueur in 2009. So unfortunately, they will not be sponsoring the episode. So that sponsorship still remains open.
It's a low price. Free?
Well, maybe. I mean, whoever wants to put their name on it.
I mean, come on.
So with episode 2, we decided to come up with a new segment. And that segment is called...
That's hot. 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 This is hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's really hot. That's 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 really hot. That's 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 hot. That was hot. That's hot. That is really hot.
That's right. It's called That's Hot. I mean, who better to introduce us than Paris Hilton?
Do I want to know how you got that sound?
Well, once again, this podcast is made up of all kinds of crazy things, and surprises is definitely one of them. So just as much as you just heard, That's Hot, Erika just heard it for the very first time.
Had no idea. Did you talk to her on Cameo or something?
I mean, if I could pay for her to do a cameo and say, That's Hot for our podcast, I probably would pay for it. But just consider that as a birthday request. If anybody wants to pay for a cameo of Paris Hilton saying That's Hot for the podcast, I'm down for it. I'm here. So anyway, we have a new segment. It's called That's Hot. And That's Hot, is the hottest topics of the week.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like we should jump right in to the hottest topics of... No pun intended. But I feel like we should jump to the hottest topics of the week.
Okay.
And in no particular order, I feel like we should jump right into this thing called the Stanley Cup. And when I say the Stanley Cup, I don't mean the NHL hockey version of the Stanley Cup. I mean the batshit crazy Girls Gone Wild version of the Stanley Cup, because there's people that are going crazy over the Stanley Cup.
Chad, you have to understand that Target just released the Valentine's Day Stanley Cup. I had no idea.
Does this cup get you laid or something that I don't know about? Because if so, I need to buy the whole thing.
There are little ears listening.
No, there's definitely not. And if they are, they don't. That means bedtime. Oh. That means they want to get chocolate wasted on the Stanley Cup.
So I have friends that really, really swear by their Stanley Cup. They like it because it has a handle.
Yeah.
They like it because it keeps
Casey's white trash trailer cups, the big monster ones that don't fit in your console, they also have handles.
Okay, so I saw a TikTok.
Quick Trip also has handle cups. The big ones that also don't fit in your console, but they also have handles.
The OG Stanley Cup?
Yeah, like.
So I saw a TikTok, and it was showing all the cups and the water bottles that have been gone through the years, like the Yeti and the Hydro Flask. And at the very end, they show the one they send the new moms home from the hospital with. They're like, we're the $300.
The most expensive Stanley Cup ever is the one that you get from the hospital with the 40-inch straw.
And the baby. The baby.
Listen, that's a $10,000 cup.
It probably is.
No, it is. Trust me. The only difference is insurance covers that cup and not the one that you get from Academy or Shields or Dick's or whatever. Yeah. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I mean, the kids this year were going crazy for them too. Like I've
seen them for $16,000.
What?
on eBay.
What
Yeah,
one?
not
Like,
even a
is
joke.
it gold plated? We all know, well, you guys don't know, but Chad knows I can't even be trusted with a $50 pair of sunglasses.
You know that I'm a huge, and make this no mistake, I'm a huge Lainey Wilson fan.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Lainey Wilson just happens to be the face of Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Lainey Wilson, and I have been to her concert 3 or 4 times in the last year.
He pointed at you, remember?
She did point at me. And if I had the editing skills, I would drop that point in this video.
No.
But as much as I love Lainey Wilson,
how much do you love her?
I don't love her enough to pay $10,000 for a Stanley Cup.
Wow. She's hurt, I'm sure.
And Lainey, if you're listening to this,
you're sorry.
I'm only saying that because my wife's in front of me.
Maybe she'll come on our show.
Boy, it'd be much cooler if she did, for sure.
Yeah,
So-
her watermelon moonshine, the watermelon colored one, I did see that.
Yeah. But you know, the funny thing about Stanley Cups is like, this is nothing new. Like Stanley, I feel like my grandfather had a thermos that was a Stanley Cup that not only was, it was a big thermos, but it also had a cup at the top, and he poured it in there, and he drank his coffee and whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe he drank other things. I don't know. But
soup. He drank soup.
Soup.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, this Stanley Cup thing is nothing new. But I promise you, in the 70s, 60s, 80s, there wasn't a single person on the planet that was paying $18,000 for a thermos.
Can you imagine our grandpas that were construction workers that see this now and they're like, oh my goodness. The 40-year-old
There's a lot
women
of people
have
that are
lost
dying
their
right now
mind.
that are having auctioning off their shit. And because they know that these kids are going to pay $18,000 for a Stanley Cup.
Well, it is the hottest cup right now.
So
I can't be trusted.
So, yeah. Well, I don't even have a Stanley Cup. I'm like, shout out to Igloo if you guys want to sponsor the podcast. Shout out to you guys for making such a great cup that holds my drinks and keeps my ice cold and I don't even have to pay but $20. So shout out to Igloo. So the other thing that we have is a number 2 topic of what my friend Paris would say is that's right, that's hot. And so the other thing is this new thing. Now this
Why are you laughing?
Because I'm laughing because I know it's me that did the research and not you. And so this new thing, it's called AI dating.
What?
And so we last week in the episode 1, we talked about AI dating and we talked about dating in general.
Yeah.
And so I decided to like take it another step further. I was like,
AI dating?
yeah. So
jeez, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready.
I didn't even know it was a thing. So apparently there is this app and it's called the Iris app.
What?
And
like the Goo Goo Dolls.
It is. I don't want to tell you her name, but her name is Iris. And there's this app called the Iris app.
Okay.
And it basically does some crazy things. And so here's a quick video of exactly what it does.
Okay.
I won't say anything. I'll let you listen to it for yourself.
Okay.
And then I'll pick up in a second whenever they're done.
Okay. I'm scared, but okay.
Yeah. So let's see what they have to say.
All right.
Did you know that attraction comes in 3 different types? The first is lust, which is all about sexual attraction and the release of hormones like testosterone and estrogen. The second is attachment, which involves oxytocin and vasopressin and is often referred to as the friend zone or the cuddle hormone. And then there's true attraction, that instant heart-racing feeling that floods us with dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. For the first time in history, artificial intelligence uncovers the mystery of true attraction, and it's a big deal. We now understand why our eyes instantly pick one special face from hundreds of others. For those who are seeking that special chemistry, we created Iris. Join us today and experience the magic of true attraction.
So apparently there's companies, other companies, other apps
that want to creep you out. Okay.
That we discussed in a previous podcast that are actually using AI technology to enhance your dating experience. Like, so apparently Tinder and Hinge.
Chad, this is scary.
I think so too, but
like,
I mean,
coming from a person who's really animated in their facial expressions, this creeps me out.
Yeah, so Tinder and Hinge, apparently in some sort of way, shape, or form, is they use your facial expression. So instead of just like swiping left or right, they use your facial expression. So if your eyes get like really big or they look in a certain direction, it automatically does the swiping for you.
That's creepy.
So imagine in a world.
Okay.
In a land far, far away. This is my cinematic moment, like I'm doing a movie trailer. In a world, in a land far. So imagine me if I was just spitballing.
Okay.
If I was just looking at your picture right now, Miss Jump, and I was looking at your picture 7 years ago.
Okay.
And my eyes didn't do anything.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Where would we be right now?
That's really disappointing.
Thanks a lot, AI.
Right.
You know? But if I was like, what?
You feel like that's how you look at your phone?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I'd be scared to take pictures of myself looking at my phone. Like, you'd have your chin tucked in. You know,
we're old and we don't know how to take
nobody looks
selfies.
Sexy on their phone. Can you imagine what AI thinks of people? You're like, yeah, like look at this guy with the double chin and looking crazy. Like,
but so what are you supposed to do with your eyes when you think someone is unattractive? Are you supposed to be like,
I don't know, like yell at the dog? I don't know. I don't know what you do. So anyway, this AI feature is being added to pretty much every app, right? So Tinder and Hinge are the first two. And so now there's other ones that are called Blush. Which, you know, obviously I haven't signed up for.
Okay.
There's another one called
We're not
AIM.
signing up for any of these apps, just so we're clear.
There's another one called AIM, which is AIMM. There's another one called Rizz, RIZZ. And then there's another one called YouMove.ai.
This is scary. So I'm going to be real honest with you, Chad. You taught me about AI.
Is this the first time you're going to be honest with me?
Yes. Just mark it down. But I don't use it because there hasn't been an application in my life where I thought I could use it. Well, I this week was trying to write something down and I wanted to sound creative. And so I just put a few details in this AI Bing, and then it made me this whole email. And it was beautiful, but it freaked me out.
Every time I post on Facebook, long live ChatGPT, because it makes me look it makes me look so smart. And they're like, I'm much more sophisticated now.
So wait, you really didn't write a song about me earlier this year?
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing I love about ChatGPT. I can say, ChatGPT, write a love song to Erika Jump. And guess what? It's going to write the perfect love song, and I'm going to turn it into a Valentine's Day card and throw some flowers in it. And guess what? She's got something that she's never had from anybody in her entire life. And I just did that.
Wow. I'm in love with ChatGPT.
Yeah. ChatGPT is my best friend.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Anyway, AI dating it's
creepy. It adds a whole nother level.
Think about this from our perspective, from my perspective anyway, because we're going to get a lot less people that shouldn't not reproducing, because they're going to be dating robots. And they're going to be. It's like Napoleon Dynamite with the glamour shot girl.
Jeez.
Except for instead of the glamour shot girl, it is, well, she lives in Canada, and yeah. So we have kids like that are growing up that are going to date robots.
Oh my goodness!
And they'll never reproduce, which is a good thing because that's going to help. That's going to not only help the population, that's going to help, voting in the near future.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's brilliant.
Goodness.
Oh
my goodness.
And just, that movie, what was that movie with the guy?
Was it Jexy?
Yes. Yeah, Jexy, the dude that was dating his phone.
Creepy.
Like, that's what this is in real life.
No.
So I feel like
pass.
No, I feel like movies like set us up. We're like so dumb. We're like idiocracy in a way, because movies predict a lot of what really does happen. Like Terminator, Terminator. Okay. We thought Terminator was far-fetched, but the reality of it is like Terminator could be a real thing. Like, we could be fighting our own robots if they malfunction.
Okay. You sound really old right now.
Well, it's because I am old.
No, we're young and cool, Chad.
No, but you think about it, like, we could be fighting our own robots that we created.
Okay.
And so, but to think that our generation, like my son, I don't even know. I mean, eventually he could be dating a robot for all I know. Your son could be dating a robot.
No.
Our daughters could be. Well, no. I would be honest with you. If our daughters were dating a robot, it probably wouldn't be such a bad thing. I wouldn't have to carry a shotgun around all the time. So the other hot topic that my friend Paris is probably referring to is obviously there was this new annual show.
It's not new, Chad. It's not new. Golden Globes have been around forever.
It's new this year, but we had the Golden Globes come up, this last week, and Joe Coy, which Joe Coy has a soft spot.
He's on the map now.
He has a soft spot in my heart because he talks about snoring.
Yeah.
He's a Ghostbuster, and but Joe Coy has a soft spot in my heart. But can you imagine just being a comedian in front of all them entitled people that feel like the world owes them something, or might be even on Epstein's jet? We don't even know. But Joe Coy just goes up there and spitballs some jokes, and let's just go back one. Like last year we had Chris Rock, and it was like the backhand that
you don't mess around with Jada.
Well,
because Will Smith was mad.
There must have been some truth to it because Jada is not with him anymore.
Yeah, that's all very weird. Yeah. However, Joe Coy, messed around with a nation. He messed around with the Swiftie Nation. My little niece made me these bracelets, by the way.
He definitely effed with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, you don't mess with the Swifties ever. Yeah. They can change. And I get like the whole NFL and all that, but she's just trying to go out with her girlfriends and being the butt of people's jokes. Sure, you put yourself in the public light and whatever, but pick on somebody else besides Taylor, because Taylor, it has a whole nation. I mean, we're from Kansas City. I'm hoping to run into her at Trader Joe's.
I feel like you've got a part-time job there, waiting for her and Travis to come in to get some avocados.
If this podcast thing doesn't work out, then I probably will work at Trader Joe's part-time. I mean, she might be in there getting ice cream.
Well, they just live down the street from us.
They do. We're basically their neighbors.
Yeah, they only live 30 minutes away.
Pat and Brittany live real close too.
Yeah,
also
30
my
minutes
friends.
away. And guess what? We never run into them, not once. But just imagine being a comedian, any comedian, whether it's Joe Coy, Kevin Hart, the Raw Dog, Cat Williams, he seems to be trending right now. Imagine being a comedian and doing the Golden Globes. And I just can't imagine like sitting in front of a bunch of assholes, I guess is what I would say, and telling a joke. You happen to tell one about them, and next thing you know, they're like stone faced. Like,
she was
not even funny. But
no,
I do agree.
Know your audience. I do
agree. I feel like the Taylor Swift attacks are a little excessive.
Yeah.
All she's doing is showing up to the game. She doesn't ask to be on camera.
You know what's crazy is the people in the stadium, they don't even know that she's there. I mean, they know she's there, but they don't put her up on the Jumbotron or anything.
I feel like she's there before the world knows. Like, if Bronze has the flu and before Pat has the flu on Friday, Bronze had the flu on Monday, I feel like you break it down like know what's
Instagram.
going on. Yeah. Instagram gives you way too much information. But I feel like the Taylor Swift thing has gone a little excessive.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any fault of Travis's or Taylor's.
Can you imagine if Travis would have been there at the show? What he would have done?
Oh, yeah. He'd just slapped the shit out of that dude.
Yeah.
He would have went on the stage and slapped the shit out of him.
And Travis is a lot more scary than Will Smith.
I don't know about that, but he definitely would have slapped the shit out of the dude for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the hot topics. That's
Look at us with a segment.
Yeah. So thank you, Paris, for introducing us to our new segment. So now we move on to our topics.
Okay.
This is episode 2, and episode 2 is going to be about these 2 topics. Yeah. And they remain undisclosed at the present time, but we're going to talk about 2 things, and we're going to talk about one of them right now. You okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about holding on to things a little too long.
Oh, okay. Like being a hoarder?
No, I'm just talking about like, you can hold on to like your kids' stuff too long.
Okay.
You can hold on to your Facebook memories too long.
Facebook memories.
I didn't even know it was a thing, but apparently you can untag yourself in previous relationships.
Yeah, and memories and stuff. So you're talking about like holding on to your kids' stuff too long. I went to my parents' house. It's been a couple of years ago. And my mom greeted me and gave me my letter jacket.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How many medals do they have on it?
Well, I mean, not a lot, Chad. Like, I wasn't a
Did
super...
it have a letter on it?
Yes, it said Erika.
So it had your name. It did not have a letter on it, but it had your name.
Well, so in the 90s, though, think about it. Those letter jackets weren't, I mean, yes, like the wrestlers and stuff had the medals banging all around, and the guys would give them to their girlfriends, the letter jackets. But the girls, you really, unless...
I don't know, man. The girls in my school, their shit was flooded. They had medals. Really? Yeah, they were like tassels. Well, they were like everywhere. They had medals all on top of medals. And
okay, so I'm going to tell you.
I feel like the guys at our school wore the girls' jackets.
Well, so I'm going to tell you something. Mine did have a letter on it. Promise, no judgment. Is this a judgment-free zone?
This is the judgment-free zone. This is the Planet Fitness podcast.
Okay, good. So I was on Yearbook.
Planet Fitness, if you would like to sponsor us, go ahead.
I was on Yearbook. And so my letter and my little bars on my letter are from Yearbook. Okay.
So you were in...
You had a letter, you asked.
No. I didn't even have a Letterman's jacket because, well, that's a story for a different time.
But yeah, so my mom, I mean, all of a sudden your parents, like my parents carried my stuff around for 40 years. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? It's time for you to take this stuff. And I fear that we are doing the same thing. Like in our garage, if you come in it, everyone has a container with their name on it. Even you.
Yeah. Well, make no mistake. We don't have a problem. You have containers with names on them. I do not. My stuff is in a box and
but at what point, like, I can't get rid of something, one of the kids, like their like little handprint.
You have baby's first outfit. You have baby's second outfit. You have baby's fifth outfit.
Yeah.
You have fishing sign for baby.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But like I can't get rid of it. So I'm gonna do what my parents did and I'm gonna pass it to my kids. So now it's their problem.
Yeah.
And there are prom dresses out in our garage that are going to get passed down to the next generation.
Are probably going to be back in style.
Oh,
and we
maybe.
can sell them on
maybe.
Facebook Marketplace and meet somewhere at Quick Trip.
I'm not going to go risk my life for $5, Chad.
Quick Trip is, risking your life for a Quick Trip meeting for $5 dress is pretty
Facebook
excessive.
Marketplace scares me sometimes. Like, am I going to go and pick up this $5 item or am I going to get kidnapped?
Yeah, no. I kind of look at it as this
just rolling the dice.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like you, if it's a dude, you're like, man, I hope I don't get my ass whooped. But if it's a girl and you're like,
yeah,
man, I hope she's really nice and maybe she'll friend me later.
Yeah, maybe. This is in your single days.
In my single days, yes.
Not now.
Not my 2 days.
You should
obviously
say present.
I should have prefaced that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my single, yes. Go ahead.
But like, I feel like moms more than dads are sentimental. You know, like. Look,
no, it's not true.
Well,
so
as far
my
as
dad,
holding on.
True story. My dad went and bought this 1970s red pickup truck.
Okay.
And it was a 2-door step side Chevy vehicle.
Okay. Wow, that sounds like a real nice truck.
Yeah. Well, he's like, son, I'm driving this truck. I'm driving it down the gravel roads of on W in Cass County, Missouri.
Okay.
And he's like, son, I'm going to give this to you one day once I get her all fixed up.
Okay.
And of course I was like 16, almost 16 and a half. And I looked over at my dad and I said, I don't want this piece of shit. And he looked over at me and he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, this thing doesn't have
no T-tops or something. What were you looking for?
Power steering. Didn't have power steering.
Oh. Tough. So, you had a letter jacket with a letter. You clearly were tough.
He was trying to be, and now that I'm almost 46,
yeah,
and he's no longer with us. I wish I would looked back on that moment a little bit more, because I look at it now a lot different. But he was trying to be sentimental with me and try to give me something.
Yeah,
and he ended up selling the truck like 3 days later. Like.
You're lost, man.
Yeah. No reason for me to waste any money on this truck. Like, we can go ahead and buy me what I really want. And
how do you feel about this Pinto instead?
Yeah. So I had that same moment with my kids. Like, obviously I have a lot of sports memorabilia and
really?
And music memorabilia and stuff. Yeah. And it might be insured at $70,000 worth of stuff. But I told him one day, I was like, one of these days you guys can just have this and do with what you want. It's got a lot of it has my name on it.
Yeah.
And, I just want you to remember me and when I got it and how happy I was.
Yeah.
When
it was a moment. It was a moment.
And the smile that I got on my face when I got it, and my kids basically did Chad Jump to Mike Jump moment. They were like, what are we gonna do with this shit? Like,
Yeah.
And so I was like, you're right. Just sell it at a garage sale.
Yep.
Sell it for like 5 cents. Everything's for $1.
Fill this bag up for $1.
It's got $70,000 worth of insurance, but go ahead and sell it for $1. I don't even care. You know,
except for my picture.
the one that's over your shoulder that you keep trying to hide behind you.
No, the one that's right above my head. That will probably go for nil. It's not addressed to me.
What are you talking about? The one that's signed right behind you underneath Michael Johnson?
His name is not Michael Johnson, Chad. Family Ties was a crucial show. It was.
Do you want to move your head just a smidge to show that picture? It's not really her. It is the fine woman from Dexter that died in the bathtub. But I always dream that it's Erika.
So
she's dying in the bathtub.
Michael Johnson.
Michael
also
Johnson
known
is
as
obviously
Michael J. Fox. You know, I wrote him a letter from Teen Beat magazine. I got his address, and I have had that picture since I was 13.
Do you know the picture that's right behind you to your other side is George Jones?
Oh, this
George Jones is to your other side, and I wrote him a letter, and the possum himself sent me that. He was doing shows at Branson at that time.
Okay, all right.
And George Jones is So anyway, off topic, but nonetheless.
But we've held on to these things for a reason. Like, and you know, you talk about how long. Like, I can't put Michael J. Fox in the trash. He's a
you can't
wonderful
put Michael
human
J.
being.
Fox or George Jones in the trash.
No, like they have to go on to the next generation.
Go for more than $1 at a garage sale.
Oh yeah, probably, definitely more than $1. So
they won't. Kids these days don't give a shit. But so you know, one of the other topics that we had outside of holding on to shit too long, because we could talk about this forever.
Yeah.
I feel like I hold on to a lot of shit too long.
Yeah.
And actually it's actually coming full circle because I just today, well, my wife, I asked her very nicely. I asked her to go buy me a Detroit Lions because the Lions are playing tonight.
Put my life on the line for Facebook Marketplace.
The Lions tonight are playing the St. Louis Rams.
By the time this airs,
it'll already be over.
Yeah. So fingers crossed.
I asked her to go out and buy me an Axel Foley jacket.
Yeah, you did.
And so guess what?
Yeah.
She, without hesitation, sacrificed her life at a quick trip to buy me an Axel Foley jacket. And now I own an Axel Foley jacket.
Hi, I'm on camera here, right? Yeah. Okay.
And guess what? That will also be sold as $1 at a garage sale. Without question. So moving forward, we have our second part to this episode 2.
Yeah.
Is the music from our generation is now basically jock jams at grocery stores, department stores, and dentist office and doctor's office. Like I've always felt like I was above average going into stores and humming and singing songs. But now we're like on classic rock radio. Like, who would have ever thought Nirvana would have been classic rock?
So I went to return something the other day and the line was long, you know, the holidays, everybody's returning stuff. And I thought, I'll go after work. No big deal. Well, I had to wait. I think I texted you and said, I'm 12th in line. Like I was at the DMV. And so I'm standing there and I'm like, ooh, what's this song? Oh, I like this song. Oh, I love this song. And I'm like dancing around.
I'm even more in love with you. It's Lifehouse. You don't even know it. You're hanging by a moment. You don't even know it.
And all of a sudden I'm like, with my package in line. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm in public. I should not be doing this.
Happens to me all the time.
But like, how did that happen? Like, I used to think when I went to the dentist and stuff, I'm like, this song's for old people. This elevator music.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, what's really funny is like, I remember like hearing my dad's was always ZZ Top, right? So
Oh yeah.
like you hear ZZ Top songs and you'd be like, oh, these are cool, but you know, they're kind of lame.
Yeah.
But now when you get older, ZZ Top songs are really badass. And next thing you know, you're going to see them 2 or 3 times at the concert, maybe even at the State Fair. But
State Fair is a whole nother show.
Yeah, State Fair is definitely a whole nother show. But you start realizing like your parents, and you're like, these songs suck. And you always tell your parents these songs suck.
Yeah, your music's terrible.
And then you realize, you know, the Great White Buffalo and Sweet Home Alabama and Give Me 3 Steps and all that stuff was actually pretty badass music.
Yeah. Leonard Skinner was on the Nashville New Year's Eve.
Most watched country New Year's Eve of all time.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We watched it.
We did. And it was very funny to watch the 20-year-olds in the crowd that were like...
Yeah, that knew no words. They were like...
Is it midnight yet?
Yeah. But it was so weird because you tell your kids like, this is going to happen to you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I can testify because I told my dad the same thing.
Yeah.
I told him that, you know, Great White Buffalo sucked. And I told him that Give Me 3 Steps sucked. And I told him that All My Rowdy Friends sucked. But
you know what?
I told him
Coming
that
over tonight.
Dinosaur by Hank Williams Jr. sucked. And then when you grow up, you realize that Dinosaur is actually a pretty badass song.
Yeah.
And so, you know, hopefully, you know, when your kids grow up, they realize like, well, I really can't speak on Taylor Swift's behalf, but, you know, they realize like the Foo Fighters were really good.
Okay.
And you know, Baton Rouge by Garth Brooks, even though I'm not a big Garth Brooks fan, Baton Rouge by Garth Brooks was an instant classic. Yeah. So, you know, and then you
there's
get to
other classics like Nelly and
Well, as episode 1 showed, that's what brought us here. Yeah. So
he's going to be a classic. Like I'm going to be standing around 80 years old, like
$60 later, here I am. Cost me a ticket and a fight. But yeah, you know, Ja Rule, Bone Thugs and Harmony, you know.
Oh boy, can you imagine us being
Gangster's
like
Paradise,
70,
you know.
70 and meeting people at the crossroads? Bomb, 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 bomb.
Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine your kids picking your music when you die. Like,
oh my goodness.
I see you at the crossroads. You're like, you won't be lonely. You know, like that's my dad. That's my dad. He listened to that stuff.
That was his favorite song.
So, do you like have like your death songs ready already?
Oh no! Is that something we just should have discussed when we got married?
So, I mean, I don't have a will, right? I mean, we've talked about this, you and I, but one thing I certainly have is I've told multiple people what songs I want at my funeral already. So if I was to like die on the show right now,
well, let's not do that.
We know what songs
it's really
are being
cold
played
outside. I don't want to have to bundle up to take you to like somewhere.
No, but I already know what songs are being played at my funeral.
Oh, okay.
And
good. Thanks for taking care of that.
Yeah. Well, I wish I would have included you, but unfortunately,
I have no idea what these songs are.
I wish I would have included you, but yeah, we already know what songs are being played at my funeral. You just might not have figured it out yet.
Hey, just go to my Spotify Wrapped from last year.
Just go to Chad Jump's top playlist on Spotify.
You're going to be like,
search Chad Jump's top playlist on Spotify, and you will find out my top songs.
You're going to get on mine and be like, these are all jazzercise songs.
Yeah, I'm bringing Sexy back, you know, Bruno Mars Worldwide, Taylor Swift.
Pitbull. Yeah. Pitbull is going to be played all up in my...
Erika's funeral is going to be hopping for sure. Mine's going to be like...
It's gonna be real. It's gonna be real down, and mine's gonna be like, There's gonna be glow sticks.
Yeah.
Not really. I don't want that. If somebody
there
plays
might
this back,
be some some gangster rap in there as well. For Erika.
They're going to be like, man, look at her playing. What is happening here?
Erika is definitely the epitome of white girl gangster rap.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm very basic, but man, you get in my car and you're like, whoa.
Which is crazy to me because you always this is Eric and I's real life. Like I'm about to share with you our real life. Like,
oh no, I don't know if we want to do that. Like, what are we didn't
Erika,
see that.
This is I'll get into Erica's car. She's like, hey, you want to go somewhere? I'm like, yeah, cool, let's go. So we'll go to a hockey game or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll get in Erica's car and the volume will be at 11 and it'll be like, girl, you look good once you back that ass up. And I'm like, we aren't there. You might have been there when you came home, but we're not there now. Like, you need to like tone it down a little bit. Like, we need to be on more like a Celine Dion, like
you do get
Titanic type.
You do get in my car and you tell me two things. You're like, are you seriously?
Yeah,
4
we are
miles
where we
till
were
empty?
when we came home. Like
4 miles
you
till
came home at 11.
Yeah.
We're leaving at a 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I apologize.
That happens 99.9% of the time.
It does. Because, sometimes like I'm driving home from work and I don't really drive through rush hour, but like sometimes I like to take that music in from back in the day and just kind of, like
drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My name is Humpty.
And I like
with an umpty. That's what it's like, and it's always up to 11.
Yeah,
and I'm at a 2. So when I get in the car, it's like, "Girl, you look good. Won't you back that ass up?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!"
That is not playing in my car. I'm
100%, 100% of the time, something like that is playing every time I get in your car.
Well, yeah, and like I said, my car's usually on E.
Well, yeah, she's the worst about filling her gas tank.
If you have 40 miles till empty, I mean, you can wait till the morning is the dumbest thing I've ever said to myself. I'll just get gas in the morning. Who am I in the morning? I am not at an 11. And
unfortunately, she does the same things with her tire pressure monitors. We'll just do that next week.
I'm just a girl out here conquering the world with my low pressure tire.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, our generation is the new grocery department store dentist office. And it's really weird because there isn't a damn song I don't know anytime I ever go. And I'm like I'll sit there and hum it like a G. Like I'm just like, whatever. And they're like, oh, how do you know this song?
Turn it up.
Yeah, like actually it was louder in my wife's car. Like you should probably turn it up a little bit more.
It's because you're in the grocery store like super early in the morning too. And so it's quieter in there. And so you're probably like, dang, this is a good nightclub.
Yeah. It's like going to your local dance club and you're like, man, this they're playing this at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, I just left the dance place.
No, we did not. No, we did not. We were in bed by 9 the night before.
Yeah, we definitely were in bed by 9 o'clock p.m.
Maybe 10
p.m. for sure.
Yep.
So anyway, well, we hope you appreciate episode 1.
We're done again, and this is episode 2, I think.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up. It's we're almost at the 45-minute mark. Nobody listens when you get to 60, so we are wrapping it up now, and we hope that you enjoy the cameo and of
thanks, Paris.
Thank you, Paris. And we hope you enjoy the cameo of Paris and the honesty and brutality truth that we just thrown at you.
Yeah.
From our perspective, anyway.
Yep.
And we hope to see you in episode 3.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Middle Age Moments. Visit middleagemoments.com for previous and future episodes. Until next time.